Thank you for joining us for today's Workforce Development Workshop as a part of the Pacific Marine Expo online. I'm Sarah Shearer. I'm the Maritime and Manufacturing Advocate for the Office of Economic Development for the City of Seattle and the current president of the Seattle Propeller Club. Phew, that's a lot. The Seattle Propeller Club is our city's largest maritime organization and represents all aspects of workboat and fishing industry. We are proud to join with the Port of Seattle, the Youth Maritime Collaborative, Washington Blue, National Fisherman Magazine, the Pacific Marine Expo in presenting this workshop. Today's workshop is all about helping your business by creating the next generation of maritime industrial workers. You'll have the chance to learn about regional workforce training programs and partnership opportunities. We'll showcase organizations that can help with apprenticeships, training programs, and your workforce development, particularly engaging communities of color and women. We have a variety of organizations participating today, and we've asked each to spend about 10 minutes talking about their program and how they can share their workforce development efforts. And we are recording this session prior to PME, so there will not be an opportunity to address questions directly. Our first speaker will be Captain Kurt Holland of Big Picture Learning and Harbor Freight Initiative. So take it away, Kurt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for indulging the fact that I'm at a beach in California. It's not as indulgent as it seems. I'm working. I'm a college instructor at this point, having retired from going to sea about 5 years ago. And I'm teaching coastal oceanography, so I have a good excuse for being where I'm at. More importantly is, what do you need and what can you get? Well, we're working particularly in the area of bringing the waterfront and its incredibly rewarding jobs and work and lifestyle to every child. And we're not going to rush until we do. And we're going to put money and resources and time in that effort. Later, I'll be sharing specifics about the Harbor Freight Fellows Program. But first, I want to talk about our mothership. We were born from an organization called Big Picture Learning. Again, 30 years ago in Rhode Island, deeply wedded to the waterfront in those areas. But the goal was to teach one kid at a time to respond to what she or he, however they identified, whatever it was they needed. We took an opposite approach from the traditional schooling world. And it works. We've got schools all over the world now. We've got 60 in the United States. And it continues to be focused on bringing learning opportunities to every single child, wherever they came from, however much money they had. So that's Big Picture Learning, our mothership. We'll send you we'll give you the information and let you look at the website. I'm sure you don't want to hear it when you could just see it. But more to the point, what can we do in Seattle for maritime folks? Well, I think a great many things, because we've got a network. As I mentioned, we've got some money, we've got some expertise on hand. My own background is a little bit relevant in that I worked out of Seattle, sailing to Alaska, sailing up the Inside Passage, and somewhat out to the Aleutians for many, many years. Hence my involvement there and not in California Maritime. So the Harbor Freight Initiative itself, are we sharing visuals, Sarah, or should we?
You can share visuals if you'd like.
Okay, so I'll do that in just a little bit, but first, I'll describe the program. I've made some big, bold claims, and here's how it works. We are serving high school-aged kids, especially seniors, occasionally juniors, occasionally people who have just left high school. Our method is to partner them with a workplace mentor, and she or he spends 120 hours with one of the high school kids. The advisors from the workplace get a stipend. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's a gesture of respect. The kid, let's say she wants to learn how to be a marine welder, or she wants to go change the oil in the engine room, or perhaps she's on deck operating the vessel. They're going to get $1,000 for spending 120 hours with this professional mentor. Additionally, there's a school site, a faith community, or some other organization involved provides what we call an advisor. They're a key role because they actually know this kid very, very well and know that she or he is going to thrive in the trades, because that's who we're targeting with this particular funding pool and with this expertise that we've got on hand. So once again, 3 people involved: an advisor, the kid themselves, and finally the all-important workforce place. But you might be asking yourself, as employers, well, okay, that's great. Kids really going to thrive under those circumstances, and they do. Even during COVID, 74% of our kids have gotten through their internship. What's in it for you? Well, a really skilled, highly motivated employee who's got the skills to be in your workplace safely, who's demonstrated all the basic, people call them soft skills, I think they're critical, but diligence, safety awareness, all those things that you want, especially on the waterfront. Okay, so that's the elevator pitch. Sarah, any questions I should answer about the harbor freight part of this at this point?
I don't think so right now.
We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, well then I'm all set. I'll put the websites in the chat so we can share that with everybody.
Thank you so much, Kurt. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and while you're in such a beautiful environment and teaching a class, that's real dedication. Thank you.
Well, you know, if I could, I'd be up there as well, though. It's last time I saw my boat, which is in Shilshole, was December. So I'm enriching the Port of Seattle at the moment to no end for my own. So
nice. Well, thank you, Kurt. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'm going to do the chat thing, and otherwise I'm going to shut up. Here we go.
So now our next participant is Principal Dan Gollisman, and he is the principal of the Seattle Skills Center program, which is part of the Seattle public school system. So he's got lots to tell you about all of their programs.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm Dan Gollisman, principal of the Seattle Skills Center, and like Sarah Scherer said, we are part of Seattle Public Schools. So the Skills Center provides advanced career and technical education training for high school students in a really wide range of classes. We've got classes in medical, like healthcare, nursing classes. We've got manufacturing, we've got construction, we've got auto technology, computer-based classes. But the one I want to talk about today is our Maritime Vessel Operations class. And so like all Skills Center classes, we have summer classes and we have school year classes. The school year classes tend to be fit better into 11th and 12th grade schedules. And the summer classes, any high school student can take those, and you earn credit for all of our classes. The school year classes are much more advanced though, and the idea is that that our school year classes get you ready to actually enter into a career after high school, or take 1 or 2 years of post-secondary education, like a certificate program or a college degree, or some of our students go all the way up into graduate level studies. So the Maritime Vessel Operations class, we house that at Seattle Maritime Academy. That's part of Seattle Colleges, so we have a partnership with them. So that means we get to use all the amazing resources they have on that site. So we've got activities that students can engage in on the water. We've got, they've got the simulation rooms for the deck and engine room. They've got the engineering maintenance facility there where they can, like, students can learn about different engines. And the general idea is we want to prepare students to enter into either engineering or deckhand. So while they're with us in the Skills Center, they get a chance to experience a little bit of both of those. Everything from fundamental marlin spike seamanship skills like knot tying and using paper charts to navigate, all the way up into using really modern high-tech equipment and machinery, like learning to navigate using computer-based applications, or learning how to work on different types of engines that they might encounter. Like, let's say they went into a career in Washington State ferries, or in tugboats, like if they want to go work for Western Towboat, or any range of jobs. There are so many jobs out there in maritime. And I know one of my favorite things about maritime is the wages tend to be higher on average than other wages of similar training and job opportunities. So if the average wage in Washington State is something like $52,000 a year, an average wage that I've read about in Maritime is $70,000 a year. So that's something we want to make sure that students and families know about, and that they could do that. They could get into an amazing high wage, high demand career without going to a bunch of years of college and racking up a bunch of debt. Some of our students can go to, or our students from Seattle could go right into, if they apply and get entry into Seattle Maritime Academy. Because of the Seattle Promise, they can take that 1 year at Seattle Maritime Academy for free. So it's an amazing, that's about a $10,000 value right around there. So that's an amazing opportunity for our students. So I hope you'll consider joining us. The picture behind me is from one of our summer courses. That's one of our introduction to maritime vessel operations up in the San Juan Islands. You know, so whether a student just wants to kind of try this out in the summer or really dig in and build those skills during the school year and consider going on into a certificate program or even a 4-year college program like Cal State Maritime, there's just a lot of different options for kids. And I think last thing is, I'll just tell you, if you're interested as a student or a family to sign up for a class, we'd want you to go to the Seattle Public Schools website and look for Skills Center, because we're part of the district. If you're one of our industry partners, we'd love to talk to you about internships and other ways to get involved. And I know one of my colleagues from Seattle Public Schools is here to talk about that some more too. So thanks, and I hope we see you in one of our courses.
Thanks, Dan. I'm particularly have an affinity for this Seattle Skill Center Vessel Operations course, because I worked with Dan when I was at the Seattle Maritime Academy for what, I don't know, 3 years?
Yeah.
To get it started. So it's a great class, and we really hope that industry will learn more about it and support it so that it can grow and start an additional pipeline to workforce. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be Katie Searle, and she is the Internships and Career Pathways Coordinator for the Seattle Public Schools. So Dan was a perfect lead-in to Katie. Katie?
Hey guys, what's up? Yes, sorry, I don't have my camera with me. I left it in the office last week. So, but I do have a flyer. If I could share my screen, I would like to share that, so then you can at least look at that while I talk. Yes, so I am Katie Searle, and I work alongside the Skill Center very closely with Dan Gollesman. And I'm here to talk to you guys today about a summer internship program that we have called Launch 206. It's a collaborative internship program, meaning that groups of students, 3 to 6 students, go to one work site Monday through Thursday, intern, and then on Fridays they have a classroom experience. Then at the end of this 90-hour experience, the students earn $1,000 plus a 0.5 CTE credit. And then I'm happy to say that this past summer, 2020, we were able to do a pilot program, Launch 206, in over 10 companies in the Youth Maritime Collaborative. And we sent 12 students through to 10 different companies. So what I want to tell you guys today is that we're looking for more companies to join us this upcoming summer of 2021. We're looking for for companies to take on groups of students, 3 to 6, that can do some type of internship experience. And then on Fridays, they'll have a classroom experience with then an accumulating project presentation at the end that all the mentors will be invited to. And then there are a couple pre-qualifiers. Students do need to take a CTE class before they do this internship, and it needs to be, you know, something that relates to their internship. So like a Seattle Skill Center program or another skilled trades program. And then, yeah, and then can you guys see my flyer, or are you seeing? Yeah, okay, awesome. And so this just kind of sums it up. This is what we sent out last year to kids. And so then we're hoping that the application will be live by February for everyone.
All right. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
That's great. And, you know, one of the things that you can't have an internship program without companies to provide an intern.
So very true.
So I encourage all of you that are watching this to find out more about the Launch 206 internship program. And I know other people are going to be talking about internships as well. We've got to make space for the next generation in the maritime industry. And so I'm charging you with, please take the opportunity to give an internship. Take some time to mold that next generation. So thank you very much. And thanks for all your work at Launch 206.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, for giving me the opportunity to speak. And thanks, Dan.
Of course. So our next speaker is Dante Proctor Mills. He is a youth program specialist at Goodwill Job Training and Education Center. He's going to probably talk about the Youth Maritime program.
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I will start with Goodwill Youth Programs. I think that for nearly a decade now, Seattle Goodwill's Job Training Education Center has been serving youth, focusing on supporting youth and addressing their barriers. So that includes, or primarily is helping them with wraparound services and support services and case management, right? Getting them through their last typically 2 years of high school and on to university or community college. In the past, I'll say now 2 years now, we have developed the Youth Maritime program, and we are part of the Youth Maritime Collaborative. So in this program, we take kind of a staple of Seattle Goodwill's Job Training Education Center in terms of support services and helping young people deal with barriers and challenges in their lives with, and then we connect that with the career connected learning and our partnerships throughout the Youth Maritime Collaborative, right? So it's a 2-year program. We typically get young people that summer before their senior year in high school. They spend about 8 weeks with us exploring and learning more about the maritime industry locally. A lot of these young people have no clue what maritime is. So this is their first kind of introduction outside of seeing the dinosaur cranes in downtown Seattle, right? So in the 2 years that we've done this program, all of our youth participants have been students of color. So to go back to the summertime, that 8 weeks, they're doing their own research into different careers and jobs and areas, which include travel and tourism, transportation, shipbuilding, maritime logistics, the STEM science and research, fishing, and other maritime support services. And they do that throughout the week. So they are developing their own business projects and researching different careers. Towards the end of the week, we, based on our partners with the Youth Maritime Collaborative, they go on field trips, right? So they're we've gone to the Maritime Academy nearly every year, except for obviously now with COVID, and there's several shipyards throughout the canal and in Seattle, and even basically throughout the Puget Sound, right, where students are talking to employers, folks that hold these jobs, and really get to see firsthand what it takes to get these positions. So then, again, you know, our primary goal is to get kids from high school into career, into college. So we support them through their high school, through graduation, but then also trying to connect them to internships, right? So that'll be you all's role. So at the end of their 2-year program with us, essentially we have tons of young people, young students of color that are looking for internships and looking to further explore careers into the maritime industry. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. You know, and I also know that, I mean, you kind of mentioned it, but you know, another role that these organizations could play is providing space for tours or job shadowing, or, you know, a lot of these young people don't know a lot about this. So even the places that you don't really think about, like marinas and naval architecture firms and all that kind of stuff, we'd really love to see them get the depth and the breadth of the maritime industry in the Pacific Northwest. So if you're interested, you can dip your toe in the water of career connected learning by offering a tour, and then see how you like it, and then hopefully offer an internship later on. So thanks, Dante. I really appreciate you being here.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
So now we have someone from Tongue Point Job Corps. It is Captain Lynn, and I hope I don't butcher your last name, but Tomarello?
Tamburello, yes ma'am.
Tamburello, okay. He is the Director of Seamanship and Technical Training at the Job Corps Center out in Astoria.
Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me today. I feel kind of out of place. I'm the only person from Oregon. I hope you guys are Husky fans. I'm a Duck fan, but I think we can get along for the next. Yeah.
We won't hold that against you.
I think we can get along for the next 10 minutes. Let me introduce myself. I'm Captain Len Tamburello. I was a career Coast Guard officer, and I retired in 2013 in the beautiful area of Astoria, Oregon. I was stationed up in Seattle from 2010 to 2014. 2006 to 2010. So I have a great affection for Seattle, kind of miss it. But currently I'm the Director of Seamanship here in Astoria. And we are run by the Department of Labor. So we're federally funded. But our Job Corps is located in Astoria, Oregon, and it's called Tongue Point Job Corps because that's the piece of land that we're on. Believe it or not, there's 126 Job Corps centers throughout the United States. Didn't know that before I came to this job. But we're the only seamanship vocation in the Job Corps suite. So let me talk about our seamanship program. Well, our mission is to produce professional, proficient, passionate Coast Guard credentialed merchant mariners so that they can help the maritime industry do the incredibly important job that they have. We have 120 students. We have slots for 120 students. They spend, their age group is from 18 to 24. Job Corps was set up about 50 years ago to help the underserved men and women of this nation, and we continue to do that. We have those 18 to 24-year-olds stay here for 18 months to 24 months. 18 months is a minimum for the Coast Guard to approve their Merchant Mariner credential, and 2 years is a Department of Labor requirement because they don't want people nesting here, enjoying the 3 meals in a rack every night for no charge. So it's the people that come here. It's all based on the money that they bring in, and if they get awarded a scholarship here, they're here for 3 hots and a cup, free of charge, and the great education. So I kind of look at our seamanship program as a mini maritime academy. I was able to go to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut, and very fond of that 4 years that I spent. I know the nation has several other maritime academies, but those are for the folks that are looking to be captains, chief engineers, kind of the top rungs of the ladder in the maritime industry. I would say we're a maritime academy for blue collar workers that are willing to do the hard work on the deck and make things happen. So when they do graduate, they have the opportunity to become an able-bodied seaman, limited, qualified member of the engine department, and then they'll also have their steward's license. So the 3 departments that we have here is obviously deck, engineering, and then the galley. So we teach them how to cook because a lot of these tug and tow entities, the captain could come up to you and say, hey, I want you to make lunch for the crew. That could either be a significant emotional event for someone, or they can knock it out of the park and make a name for themselves. So, and, I just said that we're dealing with 18 to 24-year-old young men and women. As far as cooking, that's something that they could learn to sustain life. So it's a critical part of our program. I'm happy to report that we've got a 95% completion rate, a 95% placement rate, and by DOL, our Department of Labor standards, we're an A program. So we produce quality products, and we instill that passion in these young men and women to excel in their field. So what are we looking for? I'm a visionary type person. Our vision is to gain more and more internships from the maritime industry. Right now, we have about 35. When I first got here in 2013, we had 7. And the seamanship program has been around since 1980. So you can imagine I scratched my head saying, why don't we have more? So I've been working really hard to gain more internships because, let's face it, we have our program and a training vessel. So we kind of give them that pseudo real world experience, but there's no substitute for on the job training in the real world. So this is an opportunity for the maritime industry to test drive the car before they buy it. So if they're interested in internships, I've got my information on the chat, and I'd love to talk to them about more and more internships. And then we'll work with them to place them once they graduate, if they like what they saw during the internship. So I think that's all I've got.
Well, thanks, Captain. So I have a quick question.
Sure.
So where is the internship in terms of the program? Is it towards the end? Is it in the middle?
We usually wait until they've been here about a year.
Okay.
That way they've touched on deck, they've
Mhm.
gone through galley, and they're probably pretty much in their engineering standpoint. That way they're set up for success.
Right.
And they make a good mark for the program while they're on their work-based learning. So we
Yeah.
try to send pretty experienced people.
No, that's great.
Yeah, because as you know, Sarah, the hard skills are one thing, how to tie knots. But the thing that I have embraced since I got here was the soft skills, because the soft skills, no matter what job you go to, you're going to be working up the learning curve. And it's important to have those soft skills to be able to get to those learning curve and gain the trust of the crew. So
Yeah.
that's where we put a lot of emphasis.
Yeah, we found that as well at Seattle Maritime Academy. You have, young people who do really well at academics, and, we try to explain to them that, the biggest part is getting along with people and creating trust when you get there. And if you don't have that, it's hard to be successful. So
yeah, I looked at my own self. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I can tell you, I can talk to anybody and make them feel comfortable. So I'm pretty approachable, and I think that's what helped me get to where I am today. So,
well, thank you so much. And I
You
want to
betcha.
say that, I hear you with the internships. The hardest part of my job as the Dean of Seattle Maritime Academy was getting at-sea internships.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
It's
It's tough because it's a busy world out there. Unless they
It is a
just
busy
embrace it and say, okay, we're going to make this happen. Usually I get buy-in and then I don't hear anything. So it's kind of a constant struggle.
Yeah. So again, if you're out there and you need people and that people are about to retire in your organization, we've got to make space for these young people from these programs who are interested in the maritime industry, and they need to get out there and get real world experience. So please, please, please look in the chat, look up these programs and see how you can help.
You bet. Thanks, Sarah.
Of course. So our next speaker is the Education Director of Sound Experience. Her name is Amy Kovac. And I have to say, before she even starts talking, I have a bias. I absolutely love Sound Experience. I think they do amazing work. And I'm really excited that she's able to talk to you guys today.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sarah. And hello, everyone. And I'm glad to be here. I am the Education Director for Sound Experience aboard the schooner Adventurous. And if I can, let me see if I can, I don't know if it's going to work, but I don't think it's going to work on here, but maybe I'll get Ken to put up a photo of Adventurous so you all can see our beautiful ship. But Sound Experience is an award-winning Washington nonprofit that sails the historic schooner Adventurous. And we educate and inspire and empower this inclusive community, that next generation of young people that we're talking about, to get out on the water, to be exposed to maritime, to learn about the place that they live in and be a part of that. And in a typical year, we serve over 2,000 students out, and that's with school groups, partner organizations. We're a member of the Youth Maritime Collaborative, so we provide a lot of experiential learning opportunities. Our programs are designed to be real and relevant, to teach shipboard skills, to create community, and to foster a relationship between participants and their local marine environment. Because we believe that people will protect what they value, and the more they know about the careers and the opportunities that are out there in the maritime world, the better. And oftentimes we're one of the first places that young people might get exposed to. And when I talk about young people, I'm saying, third graders in their school group coming out on the ship and being exposed to the waters that they've lived close to, or have not been on, on the water. So that is one advantage of our program, and we're looking to continue that and keep that alive. We want people, no matter, regardless of their income or their abilities, to get out on the water, to be part of a learning platform like ours or other experiences. So in addition to our educational programming, we do offer seasonal jobs for professional crew. We offer apprentice and internship opportunities to young people as well who are exploring the possibility of maritime careers. They work alongside our professional crew. They're learning skills within the deck engineering galley department, as well as place-based environmental knowledge. And like many of you have already talked about, we think of Adventurous as much more than a ship. Adventurous is a teacher, right? So the skills gained as a shipmate go beyond the technical vessel skills. Their social, emotional, their life skills, and they're going to become applicable to any path a young person chooses. So, the thing that we could offer organizations is that ability to provide, we're in this web of this maritime world, and the more that we all continue to connect, the more that we can bring young people up through the pipelines and get them to career connected pathways in the maritime world. So we're looking to partner with organizations. We're looking, even for our seasonal crew, we don't offer full-time year-round jobs, but we'd love to be able to provide, places for people to go after they've spent a season or a couple seasons on our ship, or as apprentices come up through the household, then we can offer places for them to go. So we're out, creating those partnerships, those experiential experiences, bringing your organization out on board our vessel is another opportunity that we can provide so that people can have a different type of maritime experience than maybe the one that they've currently been exposed to. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I'll have the website and additional contact information in the chat room for you all. And thank you so much.
Thanks, Amy. I don't think I realized that like the volume of students you guys normally go through in a school year, in a normal year, like 2,000 is a lot.
Yeah, and that's not even including our public programming. That's just working with youth. Yeah, so there many more people. Yep.
Well, and I think one of the interesting things about Sound Experience, and Amy touched on this, was that they do get a lot of students that are like 3rd grade through 6th grade and middle school. And I think, getting to these kids earlier and getting that spark in their little bodies about the maritime industry. And I love the statement of, you protect what you value. So get these kids out there to loving the water, being interested in possibly a career. And I think that's a really great connection. I had never really thought about it before, but taking some of your folks that you guys have taught and apprenticed on board the ship and giving them some part-time work in some other places so they can experience other parts of the maritime industry where you've got, you know, a hand who has a little bit of experience, and certainly teamwork. I mean, you can't be on the Adventurous without being a team player. So
Yeah, exactly. And the ship is, you know, being a historic landmark within our region, you know, that is like kind of a golden nugget for our region. We want the ship to be around for several years to keep providing those experiences for people, that opportunity. It's really the community ship to be, you know, as the gateway into this maritime experience. So
thanks, Amy.
it's a treasure. Yeah, thank you.
And last but certainly not least in the speakers is Visna Hoy, who is the director of Youth Maritime Collaborative. You've heard the term thrown around by a bunch of different people, and so now you get to find out what it's really about. So Visna?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. So excited to be here and to be the last but not least presenter. I think it's fitting that I conclude because we've heard such, you know, great information from all these wonderful folks, and we're all interconnected. We know that there is an aging workforce and a gap in a skilled workforce. And we know that there is untapped resources within a talent pool that has yet to be discovered. And we are all here because we are all part of this ecosystem, and we're all interconnected. And when I say interconnected, Dante, who runs the Youth Maritime program, his students are now part of our internship program. We have students who have been through the program there, who have interned with us, and now we have one amazing student who is now still with us and has said many great things about her experience at Goodwill. And now she's a young leader who will be facilitating a youth event in December for maritime awareness. So there's a continuum aspect. We facilitated an internship last summer where Amy from Sound Experience hosted a few interns, and they loved their experience there. They learned about tall ships and were welcomed in a new setting where they didn't see you know, people who look like them. We're also working with the Seattle Skills Center in engaging community-based organizations with ways to have language access and learn about maritime in their own language. And so the Youth Maritime Collaborative is really about interconnectedness and equity in action. And we're leading with this mission to help create a more inclusive and diverse workforce through awareness and through working together to build these inclusive career pathways. So the Youth Maritime Collaborative is comprised of government stakeholders, the Port of Seattle, City of Seattle, we have Sarah here, educational stakeholders, and nonprofit organizations and youth-serving organizations. And we're, you know, I think up to 25 members, and we have monthly meetings every third Thursday at 10 a.m. So if you're interested, please let me know. We would love to have more folks from the private sector involved. And going back to the internships, we cannot do this without our employers, our partnerships with employers. And we know that this takes investment. We're doing the hard work. We, I mentioned, Kurt's not here, but he also hosted a couple interns as well. And we are doing the hard work. It is not easy, but it takes investment, it takes partnership, and it takes trust building. So after the very successful internships we had this past summer, one in collaboration with Launch 206, with Katie, you see the interconnectedness here from Seattle Public Schools, and with another internship that we held in August due to COVID-19, we were able to host another internship where we partnered with 2 community-based organizations, who were led by people of color. We held a survey at the end, and the feedback we got from youth was that they would like to see more people that look like them. Because as Dante mentioned, when we're talking about recruiting and engaging youth from underserved communities, Maritime is abstract. Maritime is like full of assumptions, being on the water, which is true, yes, but not all of maritime jobs take place on the water. There is a competitive average salary, even more competitive than the average salary in Washington State. It's much higher, which young people didn't know about. So maritime is very abstract, and we want to break it down. And so feedback from the youth was like, they learned so much from the internships this past summer. They learned about tall ships. They learned about the ability to travel the world. They learned about how they can be involved through NOAA and, you know, through traditional routes like joining the Navy, or other non-traditional routes, which we also showed through apprenticeship programs. But they didn't see anyone that looked like them. So I know that there's going to be people who are watching this, HR folks. My hope is to help expand and diversify by trying to find those people. Yes, we have many folks who, like the folks in this group, who believe and have aligned visions of inclusivity and principles of equity. But for young people, if they don't see people that look like them, it's going to be really difficult to build those relationships if we don't have the time and we don't have the resources and the investment. And all we have is this introduction, right? And so my hope is that we can expand as we are helping to diversify the workforce by our efforts through internships, through the Vessel Ops program, through the Youth Maritime program, through all the experiential events that Sound Experience is conducting. We on our end are trying to help cultivate maritime excitement and proficiency, but we're hoping that from the employer side, we can also help diversify the workforce as it exists now. And so as you're an HR person, thinking about, you know, who to recruit and who to bring in, like, please keep in mind that as we are outreaching to youth from underserved populations, they want to see more people that look like that. Lastly, I want to add that we are providing equity trainings in partnership with Seattle Goodwill for employers who are committed to hosting our interns. And the equity trainings are full of tools and resources to foster positive communication and to just really start off on a positive note and cultivate relationships from different backgrounds and experiences. And we've had such great feedback from the equity trainings that we were able to implement this past summer. The Youth Maritime Collaborative also had an equity training. And so we're just working on ways to support employers and support our stakeholders to build this ecosystem. And I'm just hopeful and so excited. And I hope that we can, you know, continue to have more partnerships with employers and, you know, continue to help build a robust 21st workforce.
Thank you, Visna. I have to say that the training that they collaborated on between the Youth Maritime Collaborative and Goodwill was really good. We got to, with the Youth Maritime Collaborative, we got to experience it, and I really recommend it. Taking advantage of it. If you take an intern, it's really super helpful. There were things that I was like, my head just like went like that you just don't think about. And it was more around like the youth of today and how they like to communicate than even kind of like diversity, equity, and inclusion. It was more just like youth, and it was awesome. I loved it. So thank you for that. I appreciate that for sure. So thank you to everyone who came in. I want to just say a little bit about, you know, the city of Seattle is trying to do our best to support folks from the Office of Economic Development. We're trying to support these programs and have done some grants for career connected learning for some of these folks. And it's really important for us to be supporting. And part of my job as the Maritime and Manufacturing Advocate for the City of Seattle is to help the city understand how important the maritime industry is and what it's doing for our economics and for our people and the living wage jobs that will help build community wealth. So that's part of my job, is to make all those things happen. And I'd be remiss in my past if I didn't mention the Seattle Maritime Academy, which is the Seattle Central College program that is a one-year-long program, and it helps young people get to the AB level and the QMED level, and they put out really seaworthy, safe, confident, competent mariners that have a fantastic reputation. The last year that I was at Seattle Maritime Academy, they get a job performance review at the end of their internship. And there's a little checkbox that says, if you could hire them, would you? And every single student who came back from their at-sea internships, even the ones that when I sent them out the door, I was like, I'm not even Catholic. And I was like, oh God, please take care of this young person. Every single one of them got a yes, I would hire them. So they really do an amazing job. The Seattle College system has some great maritime programs. They've got a shipyard welding program that is a partnership with Vigor Shipyard at Harbor Island. They have a boat building program at Seattle Central, also at the Wood Technology Center. And then there are also other apprenticeships in the city. PMI MyTags, now only known as MyTags, has a deck apprenticeship in a couple of different things that are 28-month programs. There is in the works an engineering apprenticeship that will also be a partnership with MyTags and Seattle Maritime Academy. So there's some great opportunities available, and we just really appreciate the industry and employers helping us build the next generation. I'd like to thank the Skills Center, the Seattle Public Schools, Goodwill, or Seattle Goodwill, Tongue Point Job Corps, Sound Experience, Big Picture Learning, and Harbor Freight Initiative, and the Youth Maritime Collaborative for participating today. This concludes today's workshop. I want to thank all our panelists for participating, and thank you for your time and attending. Special thanks to the Seattle Propeller Club, the Port of Seattle, the Youth Maritime Collaborative, the Washington Blue, National Fisherman Magazine, Pacific Marine Expo for presenting this workshop. We look forward to working with your business to help create the next generation of maritime workers. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Have a great holiday.